Hello and welcome to everybody who is here for Tools for Your Job Search. My name is Paul Steensland. I'm a reference librarian at the St. Louis County Library, and we're going to get started. Thank you for being here. If you have a question, please use the chat feature. I will check that throughout the evening, but mostly answer the questions at the end of the session. If you have a specific question about your job search, please use a Book a Librarian session. We'll talk more about that in just a moment. And all databases require a St. Louis County Library card to log in. Book a Librarian is a one-on-one session where you can tell me more about your job situation. What I can do is select various St. Louis County and community resources to show you. So it's a little bit like you coming in, telling me where you're having trouble. I can show you how to work through some of that trouble that you're having in your job hunt and hope you get some resources that can help you out. So these are normally handled in a Zoom session, just like we're doing today. So you don't have to travel any place, and it's completely free, just like everything else that we're going to be doing here this evening. Here are the three resources that we're going to be using today: Reference Solutions, D&B Hoovers, and First Research. Yes, get it right, Paul. First Research. The purpose for this evening is to show you some resources that you can use to create lists of companies that you may want to reach out to. And this list will include various pieces of contact information as well as personnel who work at these companies who may be good to reach out to. So that's what Reference Solutions does, is offers a list of companies. D&B Hoovers will take us a few steps further for the very large companies. And then First Research is a great interview preparation database because it's going to give us information on the industry that we're looking at, as well as potential interview questions for you. So I'm going to stop sharing my PowerPoint slides, get into the St. Louis County Library's website so that I can demonstrate these databases for you. So here we are at the St. Louis County Library's website. Hopefully you've been here before. The website address is www.slcl.org. So I'm going to take my mouse, click on Research, and then scroll down to Business Owner and Investor. I see a couple people who have just joined us. Thanks for coming out this evening. We're looking at databases and resources that can help us in our job hunt. So the first one I'm going to look at, as you can see from our list, is Reference Solutions. So these are in alphabetical order on the page. So I'm going to scroll down to Reference Solutions. You notice two access points. We've got home access and library access. I'm at home right now. You probably are as well. So I'm going to click on Reference Solutions Home Access. And in order to use these databases, you will need a St. Louis County Library card. So here are my credentials to get logged into Reference Solutions. It's just your last name, card number, and PIN number. I'm going to click Submit. So we're on Reference Solutions, and like I said before, there's a lot of ways you can use Reference Solutions, but primarily today, we're going to use it to create a list of companies in the St. Louis metro area that are in a certain industry or a certain type of business. So in order to do that, take my mouse, click on U.S. Businesses, and you'll notice two tabs up here toward the top: Quick Search and Advanced Search. Quick search is what you'll use when you know the name of the company and you want to find out more information about it. So just to give you an example of how this works, I'm just going to type in Centene, because I know this is a major St. Louis company. We should get some responses here. So I type in the name Centene inside the first box. You probably don't know the executive's first and last name. I certainly don't. So we're going to leave those blank. And I normally leave city blank as well, because Reference Solutions has a rough time with St. Louis municipalities. So we're going to leave that blank. And then for state, I'm going to choose Missouri. And then phone number, I don't know what that is, so I'm going to leave that blank too. Anything you don't know, leave blank. Good rule of thumb. Click on View Results. And you'll notice a whole bunch of Centene-related companies, or companies that have Centene in their name. So I'm just going to scroll through here, take a look, see what we've got. And I've got a pretty good idea of which one of these I want, because the one that I want is Centene's headquarters, because that's going to be where the HR department is anyway. And the reason why I think I know Centene's headquarters is if I look over here on the right side of the page, I see these blue arrows. We see a bunch of blue arrows pointing up. That means that there's at least one level above that company in the corporate hierarchy. So I see a whole bunch of blanks and I see 4 arrows pointing up. That means they're a subsidiary. But I do see this one arrow pointing down. This tells me that this is the headquarters, because there's nothing pointing up. Everything is below the corporate headquarters. So I'm going to click on Centene Corp, and this is the one with Michael F. Needorf, excuse me, as the executive name. So I'm going to click on Centene Corp, and it's going to take me to a Reference Solutions company profile. Now, let me show you a little trick of the trade. What I always like to do is when I'm looking at a Reference Solutions company profile, I always like to click on Expand All, because that's going to expose information farther down the page. So let's see what we've got here. In the first section, we have our basic contact information. This is your basics. If you want to reach out to Centene Corporation, here's where you go. Phone number, fax number, toll-free number, website, simple stuff. Job listings. Well, that's good because you may be in career transition. The problem, though, is some of these are quite old. 30 plus days. And these are from Indeed.com. And the danger here is that because it's on Indeed and it's been on Indeed, in some cases over a month old, it makes you wonder how many people have applied for these jobs. Probably thousands, because so many people use Indeed because it's so popular. So these jobs may not even be listed still, may not even be available still, but at the same time, a lot of folks have already applied for these jobs. So the chances of you getting that job are significantly reduced. What I hear when I talk to career coaches is they advise their clients to search for the hidden jobs or the hidden job market. What that means is you're not going to Indeed to get your job opportunities. What you're doing is you're creating relationships with people in the companies that you want to work with. So maybe you are somebody who wants to work at Centene. You've heard that Centene's a great place to work. Maybe you even have somebody already works there, a friend of yours, for instance. That might be a way to find hiring managers for the types of jobs that you're looking for at Centene. But you may not know anyone at Centene. So that's kind of where this program is geared toward people who want to use the hidden job market, want to build relationships at companies that they want to work for. It takes time to do that, but it takes time to get a job in most job markets. And from what I'm hearing, the job market's picking up, not just in St. Louis, but around the country. So what I'm hoping is you're already starting to interview and you're already seeing your opportunities as they're becoming available to you. What I'm hoping that this program can do is help you find jobs in the companies you want to work for. So let's scroll down a little bit more. Let's go industry profile. This tells us what Centene does. So their healthcare instructions, medical insurance plans, all kinds of sick codes and NAICS codes. So if you see one of these descriptions as on target for you, then you can search for those companies with reference solutions. You can create a list of these companies, and we'll do that in just a moment. So business profile tells us a little bit of information about Centene. You normally see these with large and sometimes even medium-sized companies in reference solutions. Google map there for you. Business demographics. Now we're starting to get more and more meat in terms of stuff we can use. 198 people in the corporate headquarters, but corporate-wide, you see 71,300. If they have that many people corporate-wide, surely they've got a job for you if you're looking to work for Centene. Other pieces of information that you may find valuable: type of business public. This means that they sell stock. And this is a good thing to see when you're looking at library databases, because these database companies use the public filings that these companies have to file with the Securities and Exchange Commission to be able to sell stock. Well, there's a lot of information in here that the databases use to populate this database. So this information is coming from documents and filings that Centene filed with the SEC. So we see location type, headquarters, expected that. Last updated April 2021, so we're getting recent information. Also good to see. Year established, 93. All right, so it's been around for a little while. Management directory. A lot of good information here, because I recommend folks use LinkedIn in combination with these databases. And where LinkedIn can be very powerful is, let's say you're scrolling through this list and you see somebody that sounds like a good person to reach out to. Here is Sarah London. She is the Senior VP IT Executive for Operations. This might be a great person for you to reach out to if you're somebody who is interested in getting a high-level IT job with Centene. What you could do is go on LinkedIn, type in Sarah M. London or just Sarah London, see if you can find a Sarah London that works for Centene, check out her profile, and get a better idea if Sarah is somebody that really is a good person for you to reach out to. And then what you can do is you can use your LinkedIn profile to send either a connection request to Sarah or send an in message to Sarah and just say, hello, Ms. London. My name is so-and-so. I saw that you're Senior VP IT Executive Operations. Or even better, if you're on LinkedIn, she probably has a better description for her job title. It may not be Senior VP, IT Executive, Operations. It may be something completely different. That gives you a piece of information that you can use. But just send her a direct message saying that you're interested in working for Centene, or just interested in learning what it's like to work for Centene. Don't even ask for a job. Just say, I'd like to buy you a cup of coffee. I'd like to learn what it's like to work at Centene, and see if she's agreeable. You notice a whole lot of titles here, a whole lot of vice presidents. Wouldn't it be nice to know vice president of what? Because a lot of these you do get executive VP of something, senior VP. Here's Karen Bell, senior VP of Biz Dev. But either way, you'd love to know what these people are vice president of so that you can know whether they are someone you'd want to reach out to. Now, you can do that on LinkedIn. That's, again, why LinkedIn is so good, is it gives you a more detailed look at who these people are, what their areas of responsibility are. But a lot of these, you don't get that. Director, look at all these directors. Maybe one of these directors is the perfect person for you to reach out to. You just don't know at this point. A lot of directors. I wonder if everybody is a director. Well, maybe everybody's either a director, a VP, or a manager at Centene. Everybody at Centene, all 17,000 are a director, VP of something, or a manager. Probably not. Whole lot of managers. More and more options. And then company news, I'm going to click load company news right here. And it's very similar to Google News. Might be a good supplement for Google News. Because if you're interested in working for Centene, you're going to want to know as much about Centene as possible. And you'll notice this news is pretty recent. At least recent for today. If you're watching the recording of this, May 20th may be 6 months ago, but May 20th is today for our purposes. Stock data, yeah, might be useful for you. Business expenditures is a best guess based on company size, location, and industry. Business size history, wow, Centene has been taking off since really 2012. Good for them. And as their sales have increased, so have their employee size, which is good for everybody here. Looks like Mr. Nydorf has been there quite a while. And like most companies, they stayed in the same place roughly, and then they moved out to Forsyth. UCC filings, Uniform Commercial Code. That's normally loans that a company has taken out. Nearby businesses, a whole lot of attorneys. Maybe that tells you something about Centene's business, that they need to be surrounded by a bunch of attorneys, or it may just be they're in an area that's an office park, something like that, that has, because Armstrong Teasdale is huge. So good to have lawyers around sometimes. And then competitors report, here are similar companies in the same region. So it's not so much in the same metro area so much as the same geographic region of the country. So this is a Reference Solutions company profile. So let's really have some fun. I'm going to click New Search, and this time we're going to create a list of companies that we might want to work for. So I'm going to click on Advanced Search. And then our navigation is over here on the left side. It looks a little overwhelming at first, but we're not going to use all these. In fact, we're not even going to get close to using them all. But the first one we will be using is business type, keyword, SICNAICS. This is where we tell Reference Solutions, these are the types of companies I want you to find. So I'm just going to type in, here's some of my previous ones. I'm going to type in insurance, because that's a pretty broad topic. Then I click search, and Reference Solutions is going to give me a list of related industries to insurance. And some of these are a little unusual, like insurance glass. Maybe that's a type of glass that, like a safety glass. I don't know about that. But I'm just going to scroll through and just show you some of the various sub-industries related to insurance. All kinds of different types of insurance. And you'll notice the farther we scroll down, the less related to insurance these industries get. So I'm just going to scroll back up to the top here and just grab the general insurance, just to give us a big long list. So we've told Reference Solutions, I want you to find insurance companies. Now we need to tell the database where these companies need to be found. So I'm going to do that over here under geography. And I'm going to choose metro area because that's going to give us St. Louis City, St. Louis County, St. Charles County, and the surrounding Illinois and Missouri counties that make up the St. Louis metro area. So I'm going to scroll down, and the first thing I need to do is select a state. Okay. So now it's going to give us a list of all of the metro areas in the state of Missouri. And I'm just like you. I look at this list and I say, some of these options truly are not metro areas. That's okay. I'm just going to scroll down and choose St. Louis, Missouri, Illinois. So where we are right now is we've told Reference Solutions that we want to find all of the insurance companies within the St. Louis metro area. Now, this is normally where I do my search. I click View Results, and it's going to give me a big list of insurance companies in the metro area. But I want to show you some ways that you can narrow down a search if the search that we get is too big. And just between you and me, I think this is going to be a big list. So one way you can narrow down a big list is over here on the left side, business size, number of employees, and sales volume. I'm going to click them both to show you what these look like. This is where you can tell Reference Solutions, I only want Metro St. Louis insurance companies of however many numbers of employees. And you can choose more than one here if you want. Also, you can search by sales volume. So if you want to, maybe you want to weed out the really small insurance companies. And I'm thinking our list is going to include a whole lot of independent insurance agents and brokers. So they're not going to be doing a whole lot of business. So that might be one way to weed out some of these smaller companies. But I'm not going to do that because I want you to see everything when we click View Results. So that's just one way. Another rule of thumb is don't choose both number of employees. Like don't choose 10 to 19 and 2.5 to 5 million because that's going to confuse the database. So only choose number of employees or sales volume. But I don't want either one right now. So I'm going to uncheck those. And I'm going to come back to the left side of the page under ownership. Some people only want to work for a publicly traded company. Others only want to work for private companies, but most people don't care. They just want a job, whether it's with a public or private company, doesn't matter to them. Another option would be headquarters branch. This is one way that you can weed out a lot of the smaller entities if you want to. So let me just click on that to show you what that looks like. Hopefully that will appear soon. Let's uncheck it and check it again. Not sure why it's not coming up here, but yes, you'll just have to take my word for it that it does give you the option of choosing headquarters or branch. Like I said, it's a good way to weed out some of the smaller companies. The danger, though, is that if the headquarters of the company that you want to find isn't based in St. Louis, you won't get anything for headquarters branch. So I recommend using that one when you are fairly sure that the company's headquarters is in St. Louis. One example of that is Boeing. You might think that you're going to get Boeing to appear on your list if you choose St. Louis metro area and headquarters branch. The problem is Boeing is based in Chicago, so you wouldn't get it. So let's do a search. And for whatever reason, it's still doing its little thing here, even though we didn't tell it to do anything. So I'm gonna reload this page because it's acting a little odd. So I'm gonna click submit. And I'm going to come back to, hopefully it remembers where we were. It doesn't look like it did, but that's okay because that just gives me an opportunity to show you this one more time. I'm going to turn lemons into lemonade. Now, how sour and bad tasting my lemonade is up to you. So I'm just going to grab metro area, select a state, go back to Missouri, scroll down, choose St. Louis. I'm not going to choose anything else. I'm just going to choose view results. And okay, 3,152 results. As I had feared, we're getting a whole lot of the smaller companies. And something else you notice is all the companies on this first page are based in Illinois. The reason why that is I comes before M in the alphabet. So we're getting all Illinois companies. Let's go to page 10. Maybe we'll get some Missouri companies. No. Let's go to page 50. And we'll see if we got some St. Louis companies. Oh, CAPTCHA. 6 plus 79. Oh, man, I was always bad at math. I'm going to try 85. And if you guys know, put it in the chat because maybe I'm wrong. Uh-oh, I must be wrong. Well, let's try that again. An error occurred. I'm pretty sure I was right about that. So 56 plus 8. Would that be 64? I don't know. Let's see. All right. The first time in my life I got a math question right. So here I am. Any of these we can click on. We notice some blue arrows over here. And I'll just click on one to let you see what this looks like. Brad Bush, State Farm Insurance Agent. Smaller profile. Do get a lot of lines of business though, a lot of industry profiles. Good to see. 2 employees, not surprised. Small, independent insurance agent, probably. So there we go. And that's all I've got for reference solutions. So if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. We're going to move on to our second database. And to do that, I'm going to open up a new tab, click on Homepage, and then just like before, click on Research, Business Owner and Investor. Second database is D&B Hoovers. So I click on D&B Hoovers. Oh, we'll be back soon. Well, I'm not willing to settle for this. So I'm going to open up a new tab because this happens everywhere. Not a new tab. I'm going to open up a new browser. this happens every once in a while. So I'm going to stop the share and take a look at the chat here so that I can be seeing what folks are asking while I open up a new tab. Maggie's asking, will we receive the recording of this Zoom? I won't send it to you directly, but what I will do is show you how to access the recording at the end of the session, because what we're doing is we're recording the sessions and putting them on the St. Louis County Library's YouTube site so that you can watch this whenever you like. Thanks for asking, Maggie. So I'm going to go to a new browser and I will be showing you something new, hopefully in just a moment. All right, I was able to log in, so I will connect us momentarily. So here we are. Did the same thing as we did for reference solutions. You just ask us for our last name, card number, and PIN number. So here we are at D&B Hoovers. This is one of my favorite databases. So much we can do. In fact, there's so much this database can do that I don't have time even in an hour to show you everything this database can do. But if you book a librarian with me, and I hope you do, we'll go into this database in a little more detail. But what I'm going to show you today for D&B Hoovers is its ability to get in-depth information about large companies. So I'm going to use Centene as my example for this evening. So a few things I want to show you on this page. The first thing is 4,260 site contacts. Compare that to what we saw from Reference Solutions, and you'll begin to see the advantages that D&B Hoovers can provide. Well, let's take it a step further. I'm going to click on Site Contacts here in the middle. And then just kind of scroll through here, show you, here's our friend Sarah London. Get a little bit more information about who she is. These are ranked in hierarchical order, meaning the higher ranked people are at the top, and here is Michael Neidorf. But let's say that we want to define specific roles within Centene in order to start connecting with folks on LinkedIn to schedule some information interviews. So I'm going to click on Filter Site Contacts. And then I'm going to look under Job Function. And let's scroll through here and just find an interesting looking role. How about Operations Executive? I think Sarah might have had some role in operations, at least according to Reference Solutions. So I click on Operations Executive, and this takes us from over 4,000 to 176 results. So let's click View Results down here in the right corner and have a look. So it shows us operations roles at Centene in roughly hierarchical order. So we've now expanded our range of possible contacts at Centene. And just like before with Reference Solutions, I recommend that you use D&B Hoovers combined with LinkedIn in order to gain more information about these people. So I'm going to scroll back up and show you the second portion for this evening on D&B Hoovers, and that is the one-stop report. Because the great thing about D&B Hoovers is it has an incredible amount of information on companies. The problem with D&B Hoovers, though, is that it has an incredible amount of information on these companies. So one way to compress that information and put it into a more manageable report is to go one-stop report. And then in the middle here, we can click on all of the available reports that we want. And I'm going to click on every one of these. I wish there was an easier way to do it, but I'm just going to start clicking in the middle here and grab everything, even though we're not going to look at everything because I'm pretty sure this one-stop report is going to be over 100 pages long. So I'm going to click on Done. And you see generating your report down here in the lower right, taking a little bit of time. That indicates to me that this is going to be a pretty long report. We shall see. So I'm going to open up the file. And I am going to make sure that I'm sharing this with you, because the last time I tried to record one of these presentations, I ended up recording nothing, or at least I ended up not getting the report on the page. So I was explaining stuff that people couldn't see. So we're doing this again. So this is 105. So I was very close. I have to give myself a little bit of credit, which is probably more credit than I deserve. But I want to show you a little bit about this one-stop report, because there's some wonderful stuff in these pages, because this one-stop report can be very helpful for you if you are preparing for an interview, and I'll show you why. Here's the table of contents. All kinds of information here. Contacts, go through here. News, very similar to what you saw from Reference Solutions, similar to Google News, very recent. Financial summary, stock snapshot, may not be all that interesting to you, but this might be a little more interesting to you as you prepare for your interview. So you've got operations, sales and marketing. There may be some strategy down here. There we go. Maybe some mergers and acquisitions. Oh, look at that. Company background, good stuff for an interview. Products and operations basically tells you what they do. More contacts, going to scroll through here. This is just a big list that you would have seen previously. So I'm going to go through here. Here's the corporate family report. This is probably the largest section of the one-stop report. So I'm going to scroll through here because we're looking at the headquarters anyway. So let's just scroll through. This is every corporate entity that is owned by Centene. So Signal's report is on a scale of 1 to 100. How active is Centene in this area? So mergers and acquisitions, very much so. Layoffs, very much so, but not, fortunately, not as much so. Only 73 with big data, interesting. Opening new facilities, well, not too much. And then SWOT analysis. I love the SWOT analysis. I just wish this was a little bit longer, because normally the SWOT analysis is considerably longer. So I'm not sure what's going on here, but I'm thinking maybe they just haven't updated the Centene SWOT analysis. Not every company in D&B Hoovers gets a SWOT analysis, but SWOT just stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. wonderful information if you are interviewing for a position at Centene, because this will tell you where they're strong, where they're weak. So hopefully that will be added very soon. And then more news. Triggers, just another name for smaller news, which are sometimes financial related, but not from the major news agencies. Competitors, who else is in this industry? If you see a blue ribbon, that means they are a primary competitor. Closest industry peers. Again, this is great for somebody who wants to work in the insurance industry, but they're not completely settled on Centene. They want to know, where else can I be applying for work? Where else can I be looking? Closest companies. Analyst reports, more for investors. And then technologies in use. This is a fun little section, and there's a lot of ways you can use this. If you're in sales, for instance, you can see what type of technologies a company is already using. And if you're selling technology, you can say, okay, I see that you're using Alchemer, LLC, Survey Gizmo. We have a product that's even better than that. But another way you can use this, and probably something that's a little more specific for where you are as a job hunter, is let's say that you have a role that you want to go into Centene for. Let's say your role is human resources. And let's say there are various types of human resources, hardware and software, that you are certified in or you have great experience in. What you can do is search through this list of technologies, find some of that HR software so that you have a talking point in your interview. You can say, I understand that you're using XYZ HR software in your company. I'm certified in that software. Let's talk a little bit more about how you're using it, and I can tell you how I used it, and maybe that's a way that you can turn the interview into the direction that you want it to go. So this is one of my favorite sections. All kinds of software. The rest of this is mostly charts, numbers, things like that. Probably not something that's going to be all that useful for you in a job search. So I'm going to move on to my final database. So open up a new tab, go to Homepage, click on Research, just like before, scroll down to Business Owner and Investor. And then we're going to end up with First Research. I am a huge fan of First Research because First Research is, if not our best, one of the St. Louis County Library's best interview preparation tools. This database was designed for salesmen who need to know as much about industries as possible so that they can make their cold calls when they call companies within those industries. But because it's a great database for salespeople, it's also fantastic for job hunters, even though they may not say so. So I'm going to click on Submit. And then I'm going to type in an industry inside the search box. I'm going to type in insurance, click search, and First Research is going to give us a bunch of insurance-related industries. Quite a few. And you'll notice as we go farther down the list, less relevant. I'm going to choose health insurance carriers. Now, the next page is going to be just an overview. It says profile overview for a reason, because this is not the full profile. To get the full profile, we need to click full profile over here on the right side. And you'll notice this was last updated the 3rd of May. So this is less than a month old. So you're getting very recent information. And I love to get very recent information because, as you know, the economy is changing wildly over the past year. So if this were a year old, and it shouldn't be a year old, but even if it is late 2020, that's probably too old for where we are right now and how things are changing. But one thing I do see that I love is they're talking about COVID-19. That shows, yes, they are updating their research for these profiles. So these profiles are organized in roughly 1/3 at the top of the page of the profile is going to be basically your industry profile, your overall profile. The second 2/3 are going to be interview preparation. And I'm going to show you all those sections right here. You see competitive landscape, products, operations, and technology. One way that you can use first research is to quickly evaluate an industry to determine whether you want to continue your research in this industry. You may learn in 20 minutes reading this profile that you don't want anything to do with health insurance companies. You don't like that industry. Well, you spent 20 minutes to answer a question that might have taken you hours to figure out without this database. So that's one way you can use this, in addition to interview preparation. Sales and marketing, finance and regulation, international insights, regional highlights. That's one indicator that first research profiles are nationwide. They're not Metro St. Louis, they're not Missouri, they are nationwide. Human resources tells you what sort of people get hired in this industry. Here's a comparison between the national average salary in the yellow line graph. The bar graph is salaries in this industry. So you'd be getting more than the average national salary working in this industry. That's good to see. One thing that's not good to see is industry growth rating low, but don't let that scare you too much, because there's a lot of lows going on right now. But from what I'm hearing, things are turning around to a large extent. So don't be scared off if you see low. News and social is literally daily news on this industry. Quarterly industry update. What I like here is you don't just get the trends, the challenge, the opportunity, but you also get the industry impact. And you'll notice we're moving into the interview preparation stage. Industry indicators, industry forecast. So 2020 actually growing at 3.4% is pretty good considering what we endured last year with the pandemic. But 2021, 6.2%. 2025 is looking a little rough though. But for the next few years, a pretty good industry forecast compared to a lot of other industries. Industry drivers, critical issues, business challenges. Here's where we start to see an industry SWOT analysis. Again, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. COVID-19 impact. Great to see that they are hitting that right up front. This is fantastic interview preparation because now you understand what this industry is facing right now. Executive insight. This is where the database sits down with the C-suite folks in this industry and asks them, what's keeping you awake at night? Hiring qualified workers is an issue for HR in this industry. So maybe you're somebody who is already a qualified worker. You know that's a pain point for them. So by hiring you, they can relieve their pain, hopefully. And then executive conversation starters, they ask the C-suite guys specific questions about their industry, and they give you the answers. These are potential interview questions, questions that you can ask them, questions that they might ask you, and you get the answers. How great is that? Call prep questions, more interview questions broken down by, in this case, specific department. Financial information. Some folks love this. Some folks are indifferent toward this. Whatever your opinion is, it's here for you if you want it. Basically, it just takes the all, large, medium, and small format throughout the rest of the section here. And finally, industry websites and a glossary of acronyms. So this was First Research. It's great as an interview preparation tool. It can help you learn more about industries that you may not be familiar with, but also help you relearn information about industries that you may have worked in previously. Some people ask, in what order should they be using these databases? And the order that I showed you is a rough estimate of how you might use these. So you might start off with reference solutions. If you're fairly sure of your industry, you want to find out local companies. Then moving on to D&B Hoovers to get in-depth information about larger companies that are on your reference solutions list. And then finally, as you're narrowing down the companies that you want to find, if they're within a certain industry, come to First Research and then learn more about the industry, get your interview questions, do your interview prep. But some folks like to start off with First Research to determine whether a particular industry is right for them. Then they'll go to Reference Solutions, create their list of companies. Then they'll go to D&B Hoovers to get their in-depth company reports, whichever way works best for you. So I see I've got a question in the chat. Let's take a look. Good info, thanks. Thank you, Nadi. I'm going to stop sharing here and come back to my PowerPoint slides. There we are. That's what we looked at today. And I'd like to close by saying thank you. I know that there's a lot of things you could be doing here on a Thursday evening. There's probably some great TV shows that are on. I don't know. I only watch sports on TV, so I wouldn't know what those would be, but hopefully you hit your DVR to record them because you chose to spend your evening with us. So thank you for that. If you want to get a St. Louis County Library card, you can click right here. If you want to get a Book a Librarian session with me, and I hope you do, because that's where we take the databases and personalize them for you. We answer your questions to your satisfaction. So I hope that's something that is of interest to you. And if you do end up booking a librarian, tell them Paul sent you. You can chat us. You can give us a call. Here is the general reference email address. Everything that I'm showing you right now in these slides, I will send to you either later tonight or in the next few days so that you have these. So if you'd like to recap what you've done here with us, I'll be sending it out to you. And also, I'll be sending a schedule of upcoming virtual programs so you won't miss a thing. And I will also send you the link to the St. Louis County Library's YouTube page so that you can see this program if you want. So let me check the other question here. Nadi says, YouTube access, laugh out loud. It is. Well, it's basically, it's everything that that we have from the county library. What I'll also do is send you the playlist so that you can see mine if you'd like. So that's all I've got for you this evening. Again, thank you for coming out this evening. Hope you learned something. Hope you have a good time, and hope to see you for more of our virtual programs, as well as a one-on-one book a librarian session. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and stop the recording.